Well, a very good morning, everybody, for the weather forecast on, what day are we today? We are Monday, the 10th of August, of course we are. Right, well, what have we got? So low pressure, not particularly far away, but not particularly deep either. And we're sort of one of these sort of heat lows, which is not particularly nice. And that's sort of throwing lots and lots of troughs around us, but sort of bringing sort of uncertainty when it comes to the thunderstorms, which we may or may not see today. It's also bringing fairly slack winds and generally south to southeasterly winds. And we're going to see that sort of trend going for the next sort of few days, but still the hot temperatures too. There's no change there, I'm afraid. At the moment, it's sort of east-southeast. That's going to become more southeast during the day. We're going to see flying heights somewhere in the region of about south to southeast, 5 to 15 knots, depending on where we are. At the moment, it's about 10 knots on the ground out there, so probably closer to 15, but hopefully reducing a little bit during the day. Satellite picture is showing, you can see the trough out over sort of Cornwall and Devon. That's bringing quite a lot of showers at the moment out there. Slightly better out here, but some activity just to the north and northeast of us. Maybe some showers or some smoke activity going on. We'll show that in a moment. It's always good. The audience is listening. Right, so rest of the country out towards East Anglia looking fairly clear, but you're not going to be able to get that far, and down towards the southeast before the sea breeze comes in looks nice and clear, but quite a sort of short, narrow window in the to the north of us near the M4 corridor. Infrared chart is showing generally as well some things associated with the trough out to the west. Better over us. There is outer cumulus out there at the moment, so obviously there's instability at higher heights, but soaring won't be going for at least a couple more hours yet. Okay, rainfall radar. You can see it's quite heavy out towards sort of Cornwall and Devon, and you can see though that that's not going to impact us at the moment. That's going up to the north and northwest. You can see supposedly there's showers to the north of us. I've seen before when working in Australia, sometimes if there's any smoke or a low inversion, sometimes you may get an effect where the rainfall radar picks up things. It was even picking up flying ants a couple of weeks ago. So just be spurious. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that is, that there is a shower just to the north of the airfield at the moment. Yeah, it may be being fueled by some of the activity on Chobham Common, and my thoughts to those that are there, my old hometown. Bentworth forecast, public forecast is showing a couple of degrees lower than the rest of the forecast, and I think this is the Met Office being a bit optimistic that the temperatures will remain this low, but yeah, sort of east to southeasterly winds and going more southerly during the day. On the GFS, it says that we may, in the capital, get to temperatures of about 34 degrees, and even into the home counties, sort of 32, 33. Obviously, the higher the temperature goes, the more risk of thunderstorms. So I think this is where the Met Office and various other forecasts are not agreeing on the risk of thunderstorms. It really depends on the temperature, of which I think it will be slightly higher than the Met Office. Dew points. Still a little bit too high for what we would like with humidity, but obviously it will be sort of generally blue for today under the outer cumulus. At the moment at Lasham, we have a temperature of 21 and the dew point is 16. And the potential flight distance for today, not amazing as you'd expect in the heat. Sort of good out towards the M4 corridor, out towards Membury, up towards Buckingham, but that's about it. And we're just sort of on the southern edge because we might get some sea air effect later. Starting at, let's look at 11 o'clock, barely soarable. By lunchtime, if we get about 30, 31 degrees, we should see blue to 3,500, 4,000 feet. If we see more than that, so maybe 32, 33, we might start seeing not cloud base, thermal top of around 5,000 feet. but sort of in limited areas. And you can see that sort of trough line out to the west where you get more cumulus out just past Keevil and Lynham. Looking there, that there'll be cumulus maybe up 6,000 feet or so, but very quickly after that, to the west, it starts going a bit wet. That wet weather will start to look into push in towards Brize Norton, Fairford and the Cotswolds by mid to late afternoon. Might see, if we do get 34 degrees near Oxford, you might see 2,000 metres, so 6,000 feet. And we might even see that close to the capital as well. Probably by then, due to our location, we might start seeing a sort of sea air effect, and that might just keep thunderstorms away, one would hope, but all ruined with the soaring. And you can see the thunderstorms eventually go up towards Birmingham. So obviously this is just a prediction. There is a thunderstorm warning out, so we could see thunderstorms around here, but my thought is it will be more west, but I'm willing to be crucified if that's wrong. So yes, it's looking at soundings. If I look at Lark Hill, which is obviously west of us, you can see if we get 32 degrees, it goes nicely up to about 5,000 feet. Lots of convective available potential energy higher up, between about 10 and 32,000 feet. It wouldn't take much. If we got to 35 degrees, we'd start getting close to being able for everything to explode straight up through the inversion up towards very high altitudes. So the lower the temperature, the better, really. And looking at other places, Buckingham, 2 o'clock. This is showing a couple of degrees down from that, but yeah, 31 degrees, giving 4,000 feet. And still all the inversion there, stopping any major developments, but it wouldn't take much. And Hurstman Zoo, as it's pronounced, that's in the sea air by 3 o'clock. Let's bring that back to 12 or so. Yeah, it doesn't really ever get going too much down there. The sea air will take over fairly quickly, so not south. Okay, airspace. There's been a power cut in the Salisbury Plain, so they are at the moment noting that they cannot provide or any danger crossing services, but that may be available later today if they fix it. Parachuting at Old Sarum, sort of a almost permanent NOTAM now, and there's lots of things going on regarding Old Sarum now that they've had their planning application thrown at housing. Fairford active all day. Number 12, obviously Little Risington. They're busy with their A400Ms and whatnot. They'll be flying today between 9 and 1 in the morning. And that is also linked to Western on the Green, which is active all week from the looks of this. They normally do a week during the summer between sunrise and midnight tonight. So both those parachute zones are active, but obviously Western Oxford radar look after, or Brize. So if you need to get close to there, then have a chat. Marsh Gibbon, which is now a 2 nautical mile drop zone. They've obviously realised they can parachute a little bit tighter. That is active all day and is active for the rest of the month. And we will keep looking into this for permanent NOTAMs, because that's maybe we need to be a little bit more precise on when things are happening to avoid there being any more choke points. Other than that, usual airspace Solent active all day, Farnborough as usual. And I don't think you're going too much further than that. We're 09 today. If that sea air comes in, that could cause a change later. I'm hoping to stay on 09 because of the many jet movements we've got. Lasham International is active. We've just had the first one, which is at 9:30, the oil spill from Doncaster. We've got at between about 11 and 11:30, another EasyJet from Gatwick. There then is M-Star, the nicely coloured 727 going out on an air test. I don't have the flight plan for that yet. I'll just double check, but I don't believe I have one yet. But we'll have the launch point by the runway. Yep, no flight plan in yet. We'll have the launch point. Sorry, we'll have the Aero2 launch point by the runway, and we'll have the winch launch point by the control tower at 2XL. Just remember, it being hot and a little bit crosswind, density altitude, those of you flying self-launches and things like that, it is hot. Okay, that's enough blabbering from me. We'll see you out there if you brave it. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow where there's more hot weather. Bye for now.